All right, so this is part 2 of my post-shoot workflow. Again, whether that is portrait photography, sports photography, doesn't really matter, commercial work. My process is the same. I found that's what keeps me sane. It helps me understand exactly where things are, what I did with them, et cetera, et cetera. So we're gonna roll through part 2, which is Lightroom and Lightroom importing. It may sound straightforward, but there are some nuances here. So first thing, obviously, I'm going to go in and I'm going to open Lightroom Classic. I use Lightroom Classic, not the web version of Lightroom. Okay, so this is Lightroom Classic. My folder structure within Lightroom is something that I have taken inspiration from. Frankly, I took the same process as a gentleman named Nigel Danson, who's a landscape photographer based in the UK. Really, really good work, pretty cool. But he does it by year, by quarter, and then within the quarter, sometimes he'll break it down by month, I think. I don't do that, I just put the date. So I know I'm in Q4, so I'm going to right click, create collection within Q4, and that's where it is right there. And this one is the same date structure, Wang Sports Portraits. It's the same naming structure as my file and file structure system, file naming system. And the reason for that is when I am done working on the file, so right now I'm going to go through everything. I'll go through the whole edit process. When I'm done with all of that, nothing lives on the machine. I then transfer that to an external SSD. But if I keep the file structure the same, each SSD is based on a year. So I have one for 2025 plus a backup for 2025. It's got the same information written on both. And that way if one corrupts, obviously I have a backup. If my file structure naming is the same in Lightroom as it is on that SSD, it's much faster and easier for me to tell Lightroom, hey, they say we can't find this file. So I right click, locate file in Explorer, and then I go find it. Well, if my file naming structure is the same, I can just look and say, okay, this is, in this case, 11/19/25 Wang Sports Portraits. So I go in, look for that same file or folder located on the hard drive, the external hard drive, and then can go through it that way. So that's how I do it. Create. Perfect, and now it's right there. Now notice I'm on the Library tab, not the Develop tab. When you first open Lightroom Classic, you may end up in the Develop tab. If you're using Lightroom, things are going to look differently on your screen. So from here, I'm going to go to the bottom left and import. In Lightroom, I believe it's File, Add Photos or something like that. Let's see. Will it do it here on this screen? File, import photos and video. You could do it that way too. I usually just use this bottom left, import. It's going to bring up this screen. Select a source. Because I put them on my desktop, I know it's very easy for me. I do it this way. I don't use this left navigation bar. I just have always done it this way. I'm sure it's slower. Desktop. Choose a folder. Choose your subfolder. Click choose. And now it's going to bring them all in. By default, these thumbnails are very large. And okay, it looks like I have some shots of the moon on there. Fantastic. We obviously won't import those. I make the thumbnails as small as I can. You could select all photos. You could select new photos. New photos would be obviously if you have a Lightroom catalog that is already robust. You're not sure what should come in or what shouldn't come in. For me, I'm going to choose all photos because this, as you could tell, is a brand new Lightroom Classic. There is no catalog already in works here. I don't have anything set up on this. I'll get to that in another video, how to import stuff from an old machine. But here, I'm going to click on all photos, but I don't actually want all photos. So I'm going to uncheck the ones I don't want, or I could just multi-select and uncheck. Obviously, I don't want these ones either. Uncheck. I don't want shots of the moon for a portrait session. Let's just go through and make sure they are all portrait session photos. They are. That looks good. Okay, so all of the ones that are checked, there are 161 photos total, and we're going to go ahead and import. And what it is going to do is it's going to put, again, I'm going to make my thumbnail small just so I can see. It's pulling in the files, it's pulling in the previews and all that stuff. So you can see I have 161 photos. Now, obviously, I'm not going to deliver 161 photos for this portrait session. Realistically, I'll probably deliver 10 to 15 for this particular session, which means I need to go through and cull because you can see these first three right here. It's essentially the same shot. It's the same pose, And same thing with these three, same pose. These ones here, same pose in a vertical format, same pose in a horizontal format. I need to go through and choose the best one of that set. So what I'll do at this point is I will cull my photos. But what's important to know, which that'll be the next video, what's important to know is it says previous import. So these files, images that you've just imported, aren't actually in your folder yet. So Command A or Control A if you're on Windows selects them all, and then I'm just going to drag them down to my folder. And now I have 161 images in this particular folder. So now with all of my images in the folder, the file structure that I've set up in Lightroom Classic, which matches the file structure and naming convention I've used on my desktop, I am ready to begin the actual culling and editing process. So that'll be the next video. Next video will be how I do my culling. And I'm just noticing here, there is this fun little tool, assisted culling. I am very curious about that tool. I don't think it'll work in this particular situation, but we may give it a try anyway. So part 3 is going to be culling and how I go through and how I manage that. On to the next one.